Is one of those shows where I can spend hours trying to figure out the mysteries, connecting clues, and coming up with theories. But then there are other moments where I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't they just do the obvious thing? Now, I'm not calling these plot holes. Some of them might eventually have an explanation. And before somebody says, if they did the obvious thing, there wouldn't be a show, I know. Obviously, the characters have to make questionable decisions sometimes for the show to move forward. I know. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to sit on my couch and ask, why nobody thought of the obvious solution. But these are the moments where the characters made choices that made me literally yell at my screen. But before we get into it, if you enjoy hidden clues, fan theories, and deep dives into TV shows and movies, hit that subscribe button for me. It really helps me grow the channel and it lets me keep making content like this. All right, let's go. Number 1, why didn't they just try to weaponize what was in Boyd's blood? When Boyd realized that whatever was inside of him could kill one of the monsters, my immediate thought was, okay, we got a weapon now. Why wasn't the next step figuring out if they could somehow preserve it, put it on some bullets, arrows, knives, something? I know the worms left Boyd after he transferred them, so obviously he couldn't just donate magical monster killing blood forever. But you're telling me nobody wanted to experiment with this? One of these creatures, something they previously thought was basically impossible to kill, just died. That would have immediately became priority number 1. Figuring out exactly what killed it and see if there's any way we can recreate it. Instead, it feels like everyone just moved on. Number 2, why didn't Tabitha tell nobody her family was trapped? Tabitha finally makes it back into the real world, we think. Her husband is still trapped, her children are still trapped, an entire town full of missing people is trapped. And instead of immediately trying to alert somebody, she spends most of her time trying to figure out things with Victor's dad. Now I understand how crazy the story sounds. Hi, my family's trapped in a supernatural town that I can't find on the map. Yeah, they probably would have looked at her like she was insane. But still, wouldn't you at least try? Report your family missing, give the names of the other people you remember, search for missing persons case, go tell their family, find out if there's any connections between them. Even if the police couldn't find the town, Tabitha had something nobody else in that place had: access to the real world. And I feel like there was so much more she could have tried to do in that time, but she didn't. Number 3, why didn't nobody ask Donna what she saw when she died? This one really bothers me. They made a huge deal out of the idea that when people die there, they might not just simply go, like they're somewhere else. There are fears being unlocked. There are things happening that nobody really understands. So when Donna wakes up, why isn't everybody questioning her? What did you see? Where did you go? Do you remember anything? Did you hear anything? See anybody? Do you remember dying? I would have had a whole interrogation room set up for her, after she got herself together, of course. Because if someone dies in a place where death itself might be a part of a mystery and then comes back to life, that person potentially has information nobody else has, right? And nobody just did nothing and everybody just moved on. We need answers. Season 5, we need answers. Number 4, why did they bring Patty instead of Elgin? This choice made absolutely no sense to me. They're going on a mission where they literally are trying to pull the tree out of the ground. You need muscle. And who did they bring? Patty. Patty had just been attacked by those dolls and was already traumatized, vulnerable, and clearly not in the best mental state to be doing anything dangerous or being on any kind of mission. And what happens? She becomes hysterical, takes Boyd's gun, and shoots out the window. Meanwhile, where's Elgin? Back in the town, going through boxes of pictures. Elgin! I know they had trust issues with him, but by this point, I know they had trust issues with him and all, but he earned some of that trust back by killing one of them dolls that came into the colony house. If I had to choose between somebody who was already traumatized by a recent attack, taking Elgin. Why was this even a discussion? Number 5, why did nobody just go around the fallen tree? This might be one of the biggest why didn't they just question in the entire show. Everybody sees the tree, they stop, they can't drive through, they turn around, and eventually they end up in the town. But did anyone actually try to go around the tree, get out the car, climb over it, walk around it, going through the woods? Because from what I've seen, everyone seems to treat that tree like an invisible wall. And maybe it is. Maybe the second you see the tree, you're already trapped and it doesn't matter which direction you go. We won't know. But I still need to see somebody try, because if I see a tree blocking the road and turning around keeps bringing me back to the same nightmare town, at some point I'm parking that car and walking. Number 6, why does nobody listen to Victor until it's too late? How many times are we going to do this? Victor has been trapped there longer than anybody. He survived there as a child. He knows things about this place that don't nobody know, that he doesn't always know how to explain. So when Victor is absolutely terrified of something, maybe listen to Victor. I know sometimes it's really hard for him to explain himself. I'm not saying Victor is always right or that he understands everything that's happening, but if the man who survived decades in this place is begging you to not not do something, I'm at least going to ask a few more questions before I do the exact thing he told me not to do. At this point, Victor should be treated like a walking warning sign. Victor starts panicking. Everybody stop what you're doing. Let's figure it out. Number 7. Why do these people keep going off alone? You live in a town with monsters. People hallucinate. Things manipulate you. You can't always trust what you see. And somehow, somebody is always wandering off by themselves. Why? At this point, we need a buddy system. Nobody goes into the woods alone. Nobody follows a mystery voice alone. Nobody investigates the creepy noise alone. If you see a dead person standing in the corner telling you to follow them somewhere, go get Boy or Kenny, somebody else. Because how many times does this place have to trick somebody before everybody realizes that maybe splitting up is not the best idea? But those are my biggest why didn't they just moments in From. And I already know there are more. So tell me in the comment, what decisions in From had you yelling at your screen? And if I get enough of good ones, we might have to do a part 2. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what From moment had you yelling. Why didn't they just? Thank you so much for watching, and remember, every great story deserves a real good talk. I'll see you in the next one.